Hello and welcome to the Dream is Real podcast. This is the place to be if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in New York real estate. Before we get started, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications, leave a 5-star review. We don't want you to miss an episode because we're going to continue to bring you great content. Today is no different. I'm with Ryan Ahmes and Eric Campan of LA Build and Design. What's up, guys?
Hey, how you doing?
Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about you. Obviously, in the construction side, we'll jump into that quite a bit. But where'd you get your start? What do you specialize in?
I guess I'll go first. My father started the business when I was born. I've been on the job site since I was 6 years old. I got pictures of me with a hammer in my hand even before I could talk, basically. And we're just growing the business, and now we're getting into new construction, and so we have couple businesses going. One renovation, the other one new homes.
Awesome. So both renovations, new construction. Eric?
Yeah, I got into building probably about 25 years ago or so, and it's progressed through different phases and whatnot, but now also have a renovation company and new build company that I own with Ryan, and looking forward to doing new exciting things on Long Island.
Very cool. So you look at it through the lens of a buyer and looking at new construction versus purchasing a home. That every home needs renovations at some point, right?
Yes.
What would you say to somebody who's looking at the market right now? What's let's talk New York, Long Island. What is the new construction market like right now, and how does that contrast or line up with what's out there in the existing homes?
Well, the new construction market in Long Island is pretty vigorous right now. It's been that way since the pandemic. It's been really just picking up steam. I would say the last year is maybe you could say cooled off. Might not be the right word, but has definitely leveled off a bit as far as the demand. As recently as last year, you'd see lines for open houses down the block. You're not really seeing that anymore, but home values on Long Island and Nassau and Suffolk County are still climbing. Almost every month is new records as far as the median house price. I think we're somewhere in the 800,000 range in Nassau and 750 in Suffolk as far as median price of a home now. And it just keeps creeping up. But there are opportunities, as always, and maybe possibly down the line here in the next quarter or so, we may see rates drop, which, and traditionally when that happens.
I think we're all cheering that on.
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
I'm sure a lot of people.
September can't come soon enough.
Fair enough.
I'm sure a lot of people are excited about that. The counterpoint to that, or what goes hand in hand in that usually is home prices go up, which probably isn't maybe great heartening news to everyone who's out shopping for a home right now. But what that could possibly tell you is now is a good time as any to buy a home in Suffolk or Nassau County, because if the rates do go down, the home values are probably going to climb.
So often when somebody's looking to purchase a home, they're looking at the existing inventory. What's some of the benefits you think of looking at new construction?
I would say that new construction is everything in the house is brand new. When you buy this house, you can basically tell yourself 20 years, you don't have to worry about anything. You buy a house that's existing, the boiler's 20 years old already.
Could be 20 minutes.
Yes, you could be right into that house and right away you got to start fixing things. Right here, it's turnkey, nothing to worry about for 20, 25, 30 years, roof, lifetime. So nothing to worry about for a while. You got your investment, but you don't have to bank money thinking, I got to save. God forbid that boiler goes. God forbid I need to do a kitchen or a bathroom. Everything's done. It's perfect.
Are there any parts on Long Island in particular that you feel like are really hot for new construction right now, and maybe more so than others?
New construction is in such high demand in Long Island, Suffolk and Nassau County, that anywhere a new home goes up, although, like I said, it's maybe not as it was with the demand, it's still, houses are selling pretty quickly. The lower the cost of the home, more towards the median value or whatever, the quicker they're going, because anything in the 6, 7, even $800,000 range right now doesn't last long at all. As you start to climb with the price, the pool shrinks and the homes sit a little longer usually, but even then, those are going pretty quickly. So demand is still pretty strong. You're not seeing the overbids where as you climb in price, you're not seeing people
not like it was.
outbid each other as it was, but you're still seeing in the middle values, where the entry-level homes and starter homes, so to speak, you're still seeing high demand and outbidding still happening in those realms.
Yes, I spoke to an agent today, and they said the same thing. Median range, over ask almost everything.
Right.
Still.
Right.
Not the long lines, but over ask. Still bidding wars.
Yep. Yeah. There's still, even with all the construction and the inventory, there just doesn't seem quite enough to meet the demand.
Yeah, well, inventory is not where it needs to be for it to be even you talk in terms of a buyer's market or a seller's market, right? Generally speaking, anything under 10 to 12,000 homes available in Long Island is going to be a seller's market. And then anything over that, is, because what they say is, anything over a 2-month supply is where it starts to shift, right? When we're right at that border right now where we are, we're a little under that. So, what that means is if no other homes came on the market in 2 months, almost the whole supply of existing homes, new and existing, would run out.
Sure.
Right? So that's where we are right now. We're in about a 10-week spot where if no new homes and existing homes came on the market for sale, we would run out of homes to sell in about 2 to 2.5 months.
I've never heard it put that from that perspective, right? Now, obviously, it's not feasible where nobody's going to put their home up. But yeah, it lets you imagine that we are.
And to give you a reference further,
spot.
Forgive me. To give you a reference further would be that, maybe 15 years ago, 14 to 16,000 houses available on Long Island.
Oh, has that been the shift?
That was a decade and a half ago, right?
Right.
And then since then, the population hasn't doubled, but it's significantly increased, especially post-pandemic.
Right.
And now
a lot of people moving from the city and looking at the suburbs.
Yep. So you're talking probably 200 to 300, 400,000 people moved out here. So now we have more population 10, 15 years later, and the homes available is like half of that or a third less. So just to give you some context for 15 years ago, how many homes were available generally to buy if you were looking for a home. And now you're talking about half that supply and not double the population, but definitely 20%, 15% more population. So just, that's why demand and price just keep surging.
No, that's a significant shift, and that makes perfect sense. Let's talk about just new homes in general. You talked about the benefit being, hey, you don't have to do anything for 20 years. That being said, pre-show, we talked a bit, and I know your commitment to quality is extremely, extremely high. What does a buyer have to look for? Because I'm sure you would agree, not all new homes are created equal, right? You want to make sure that you're working with the right builder. So give our audience a sense of what to look for to make sure that what you're buying is up to snuff with what you're going to be 20 years and relatively issue-free.
Absolutely. So first thing I would definitely suggest is references and referrals. We have a lot of projects we've done in the past. Reach out to them. Check out how our houses are holding up over time. One thing that me and Eric like to do is we collab every morning, every night. What can we do to make the house look better? What do people want? You can't just be like this cookie cutter guy that hasn't been in construction. You get a lot of the suit and tie guys now trying to get into the business.
Sure.
And they just hire. No, they don't get involved at all. And you're going to get that cookie cutter stuff where you have us that are builders. We have experience with customers. We have a relationship. We know what they want. We know what's good. We know what's hot. And we communicate that every day, every night.
So there's some guys out there that maybe cut their teeth, something and totally unrelated. Then they get a hat with GC on it, and now they're wanting to build. And
you can tell. You can see when you walk into some of these homes. Wow. I look at pictures all day long, and I'm like, I can tell that was just.
So you can tell, right?
Yes,
you can tell. So let's say the layperson. Let's say the individual that doesn't have the same set of skills, what are you looking for?
I would actually say that it is kind of obvious if you can walk into two
fair
different
enough.
houses. You walk into a very good builder's home and a cookie cutter's home, you can tell the difference. It should be pretty obvious.
Yeah,
And you can do the research on what's in there too. You go right ahead. What products are being used in there, what equipment's being used. Some people go with the cheaper equipment. We try to go as high end as possible.
When you say equipment, you mean
Like
appliances?
appliances, you got HVAC units, hot water heaters,
Sure.
all that stuff.
Yeah, I can see where it could be right under your nose, but
It can even come down to paint. Paint, there's all kinds of levels to this game.
Oh yeah, you go to Home Depot,
Yes.
and when you're looking to paint, even if you're just looking to paint your kitchen, paint your bedroom, there's this paint here, and then you can go with the
there's all
It's like
different
when you get
levels.
pricing on things. You are a homeowner, you ask for someone to paint your house, you could get 7 different quotes, and the price range would be ridiculous.
Right.
So that's the kind of stuff that's out there.
Got it.
Yeah, I would say to Ryan's point, the first point he made is probably the most valuable, which is check the history of the builder, of the contractor, right? Because contracting game is a messy game, and as far as you never know kind of who you're getting. So the best way to help yourself with that is to invest the time to research, get some referrals from the builder on people they've built homes for or done the type of project that you're going to hire them for. So if it's a kitchen or a bathroom, see, you have some references for someone you did a kitchen for or a bathroom for a new home, someone you built a new home for. And the more references that a builder could provide, especially if they're older references, like someone you built a home for 10 years ago, 15 years ago, which we have the ability to do that, obviously that's going to provide you with more trust.
Sure.
Because that's what it all comes down to, is trust. It is difficult for the layperson sometimes to walk into a new
Because everything
build.
could look great out of the box, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't know, like Ryan was saying earlier, it could be someone new to the business, and it's not that they maybe don't want to do a good job, they just don't maybe know how to look for the subcontractors, the people they're going to hire,
Sure.
and what that requires and what that
Everybody that
takes.
steps up to the plate wants to hit a home run, right? Whether or
Yes,
not
and
you can,
They're just
whether your
shopping
swing is
prices.
up to par. Yeah,
They're
exactly.
shopping prices only, and we have a long history of people. So we've been in it so long that we are set, or we know everything already.
Yeah, and you've got some pretty exciting projects going on right now, right?
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
up and coming ones too.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know to what degree you can delve into that. Yeah, I don't know if you can. If you can't, that's okay. But you could say what areas to look in for, and I think people can connect the dots.
We have a lot. If we join them all together, it could be a while.
Yeah, I mean, just the biggest one right now.
couple exciting
Yeah, the biggest
opportunities,
one right
right?
now is we have a new construction subdivision in the village of Lake Grove, right near the Smith Haven Mall and the new Wegmans shopping supermarket. And, we're right there perched on the hill across from the urban air. It's a 4-home
Very familiar with the area.
4-home subdivision, half-acre lots. One
Not
thing-
easy to come by
No,
these
they're-
days,
they're-
even that far out east.
Yeah.
Private road. We're putting in a road as we speak.
Yeah, it's a cul-de-sac, which it's not private per se. It's dedicated back to the town, so it's going to be upkept by the town, and
Fair
such
enough.
a mail will be delivered. But
Probably better off. Right?
yeah, but it's a
Yeah.
smaller road that'll only be used by the 4 people who live in the 4 homes there. And one thing I should say is these homes are all smart home technology for the HVAC systems, which means you can control the system from your phone, PDA controlled. There will be the lights available to do that as well. Above and beyond more options with the smart home. And then also, all these homes are all electric, which are heat pump systems, which I don't know how much you guys know, but the law was just passed and went through the Supreme Court, and it's now going to be a law that starting next year in New York State, you will not be able to construct a new home with gas.
That
or
is
oil.
final in New York State
That
as
is
of
final.
as of today, August
as of last
2025.
week. As of last week, it's official. They lost the case in the Supreme Court. They sued New York State and lost whoever that was who sued the state. And now, starting next year, you will not be allowed to put gas or oil in any new home in New York State.
Wow, does that impact existing homes or
Existing homes, you'll be able to fix your equipment. You'll be able to order a new
Okay,
whatever
that's
you
what I was
need.
gonna
But as far as new construction going forward next year, you will not be allowed to put gas or oil in your home
Interesting.
because they want every home to be an electric heat pump system which I've been building now for a while, and I'm on board with it completely. Ryan, since we joined together, is now building that way as well for the most part. And it's just the efficiency in what it delivers to you as the client. Your bills go down, the impact to the grid is less, and then if you happen to, which I suggest, put solar panels on your home, if it's new, as soon as you buy it, 5-6 years later is usually the recapture period, and after that, you're pretty much home free for 25 years other than streaming and water. You have almost no utility bills.
So we don't need to spend a whole heap load of time on this, but you from your professional expertise, do recommend solar if possible.
I do, especially if you're buying a new home and you're going to have one of these heat pump systems. If you do it immediately in the first year, like I said, most recapture, which recapture is the amount of time that you're making an expense to buy this system. So whatever you spend on your electrical bill, you divide that number by whatever the state and feds give you. Whatever's left, you have to divide what you normally spend on your electric bill. If it's $300 a month, so every year you're spending $3,600. If your expense after your rebates is say 10 grand to make it easy, so then 3 years later you break even. Generally, it's about double that. It's about 6-7 years. You recapture what you spent, and then if you own the system and you're not leasing it, and then you're even. And then as long as the cells last, you don't have an electric bill.
Got it. So
And you have a brand new roof already, which you do not have to replace
Right.
for solar panels.
Right. And so now if you're using a heat pump system, that means your hot water, your air conditioning, your heat, everything is energized by that heat pump system and from the solar. So you're not, the only thing you're doing is buying the water from Suffolk County Water, and you're streaming for your entertainment. Everything else is going to be covered by your solar panels.
very, very interesting. So give us a sense of maybe a couple more. We don't have to delve into the deep into the project, but what's a couple more areas so that, post show somebody gives a call and says, hey, tell me about this project.
Very shortly, we're going to be starting a brand new construction in Belle Terre, which is right near the ferries in Port Jeff,
Right.
very high-end
Great
area.
yeah.
It's going to be over 4,000 square feet, high-end finishes, beautiful house. We're just waiting on permits right now. Once we get them, we're going to break ground. That's a very exciting project for us. We have another one in Nissaquag, right on the water, on a big piece of property, 2.3 acres. That home, I believe, is going to be 5,500 square feet with a pool. That's another exciting project. 2 big, high-end homes right in this area.
Yeah. And that's on the river, right on
Awesome.
the
Yes.
river.
Overseeing
And
the
that's just a few, so folks can reach out to you about all the good things that you have going on there. Let's pivot toward the renovation side of things, because let's be honest, not everybody's going to buy a new home. And looking at renovation, sometimes it's a matter of I'm selling my home and I want to maximize the amount that I can sell it for. And other times it's, hey, I'm going to move into this home. It's going to need some work, So let's start on the seller's side. What are some of the projects that you could look at if you're looking to sell your home that really move the needle on the overall value?
I would say there's generally probably 3 main areas that, if you invest in, it'll probably come back to you on the value of a sale. And I would say that is the curb appeal, from the street appeal from the front of the house. And then I would say the kitchen and the bathroom, mostly the master bath, but any baths in the home. Those 3 areas are generally the areas that most impact the way a family or people usually view the home. So I would say the front of the home, the street view of the home, and the front of the edifice and what it looks like, and then the kitchen and bathrooms, I would say.
So the obvious is the curb appeal, the front yard. Let's say there's a lot that you can do. Can we narrow that down to maybe a few things that you could hit on right off the bat to improve, whether it's something that's relatively simple or something that's a little bit more elaborate?
Yeah, something simple you could do is if you have cedar shake or some type of paintable surface on the front of your home, you could paint the front to freshen the look and bring it up to update it. Also siding, update your vinyl siding, even if you can't afford to do the rest of the home. If you can do the front, that really changes when someone pulls up. They can, it's hard for sometimes people to envision things. And of course, the first thing you see when you roll up to a house to buy, whether it's existing or new, is the front. So doing anything on that you could possibly afford with the siding, painting it.
Peaks. Peaks.
adding maybe
Adding
a portico
peaks.
or overhang or something with a peak. Things of that nature would generally, uplift the appeal.
You see that a good bit on some of the high ranches, right?
Yes,
They'll
everybody got
do
the
that in
flat
front with
roofs.
the pillars in the front, and
Yep.
you're right. It does. It changes things a little bit
Makes the house look bigger too.
Yeah, fair enough. And in those style homes, I mean, we can go through all the style homes. Sometimes you're limited, or it seems like you're limited on what you can do, but that's something you can do right off the bat.
Yeah, change the
It's
style right
not
away.
incredibly invasive to the home, but it could change the look, the feel.
Yeah,
of the,
Absolutely.
definitely.
So on the inside, you look at kitchens and bathrooms, obviously being at probably the priority. Other than what makes that, you think, the catalyst for the bump in value, or maybe getting a return on the investment? Is it the perception of the buyer and the use of the areas, or is there something else that maybe I'm not seeing?
Well, obviously, the kitchen is where you spend most of your
that's the
time.
heart of the
That's
home,
it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm in my kitchen my whole life. So you want where you're going to be and entertaining. When you're entertaining, you want to kind of show off your little entertainment area. The kitchen's where to do it, and there's a lot of things you can do in a kitchen to really jazz up a home.
Right. What do you think are some factors that go from a modest bump to the wow factor?
Appliances are a big one.
Yeah,
and
that's something that's totally under your control.
Yes.
From a space perspective, right? You may be limited on what you can do with ceiling height or what have you, but for the most part, you can do what you want from it.
Yeah, in my house, I have a red stove, and to this day, anytime I see someone that saw my house 15 years ago, like, red stove, you have that red stove.
Right.
Yes, so that's where I spent the money. Like I told my wife, we're renovating the kitchen. We're going to renovate and spend extra money on two things. One, I did very thick countertops, and I got the red stove. And to this day, you're the red stove guy. You're the red stove guy.
Right. Yeah, and of course, to Ryan's point, countertops, changing them out. If you can't afford to change cabinets, if you don't want to change the cabinets, because that could be pretty expensive, you can paint them, have them painted, which is something that changes the look of the kitchen. And of course, appliances. Being that most homes, if they're newly constructed within the last 10 or 15 years, all the homes are like open floor concept now, where there's not many walls in place, which lends itself to great entertainment areas, great viewing, the way it's laid out. Not so great on noise reduction for if you have kids and such, but you don't realize that when you're looking at homes. You just look at how beautiful and aesthetically pleasing
how
it
open
is.
it is.
Yeah.
Now, you guys would be great to ask this question, because we had a guest on a while back who, their perspective, I'm not going to say whether it was true or not, is that people are pivoting a little bit more toward not as much of an open concept and a little more segmentation in the house. Are you seeing that either on the new side or within renovations, or?
Not at all.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Even with the construction business, everything is open concept on my end.
Okay.
Everything we're building, everything I'm seeing, all the plans that come to me that I'm looking at, open concept.
Open
everything.
concept.
Yeah, and to your point though, when I go speak to people who've lived in open concept homes for a while, if it's their first open concept home and I'm going there for say something else or whatever, we'll talk. And if I built them the home, I'll ask them sometimes how they enjoy the concept, the open floor concept, and how it's working for them. And a lot of times, for entertaining and for aesthetic purposes, great. But then when it's being in use with an active family, especially younger children, it becomes a little bit of an issue because there's no way to reduce the noise because
Right.
those walls,
That's why you got to finish the basement.
yeah,
Set them down.
Yep.
throw them
Set
down
'em
there. But yeah, so not seeing, to Ryan's point, I'm not seeing a lot of changes where people are asking for more wall structure. Maybe in the design, you're seeing, like, instead of now, you won't see a dining room and a formal living room. What you're seeing more is that space combined and doing away with the quote unquote plastic covered living room.
Right.
From back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember that. First of all, I don't know what a time. Plastic covered furniture, no AC.
No AC.
So you're making a suction sound every time you get up off it.
And one TV.
And one TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Amazing how we used to live, right?
Yeah, that's it. That's why I used to sit, well, now you have to say crisscross applesauce on the floor. And because, you lay on the couch, you're going to have to get mom or dad to peel you off that thing,
yeah.
right?
Well, I couldn't even, the funny thing is, to your point too, in my grandmother's house, I couldn't even sit in the plastic colored living room. So it's covered, but we couldn't even go in.
You weren't allowed, right?
Only in holidays.
Yeah, holidays. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, we went through a couple years with that because I grew up with my grandparents.
Yeah.
And it was
and I think over time, people have realized that, kind of like, we save these two rooms for only Thanksgiving and Christmas,
right,
whether it be the dining room and the formal living room. So people now have realized, and I don't need that. Just give me this open space. Give me this huge kitchen. I can either put in a kitchenette or not, because everyone's usually eating at the island anyway. And then dinner will go over to the dining room maybe or whatever.
Listen, I have kids. I have five kids, and I've learned everything is disposable.
That's it.
Until they're out, we're not going all in on anything.
Yeah.
Anything that they can sit on, write on, eat on, forget it.
My furniture in my great room looks ridiculously abused, and I tell my wife, we're not changing this until the little one's 10.
Yeah, it's funny because we had a family member give us a sofa, and I won't, Aunt Debbie, if you're out there, hope you don't see this. And I went and found the same one this way because you have kids between kids and dogs and stuff.
You didn't want them to know that it was destroyed.
This lived in her house pristine for decades, and it got to me, and it's just, it is what it is. But can't take things that serious, right?
Yeah,
what's important is the memories that you make in the area.
Yeah. And the little one's on the couch.
So yeah, exactly. Less so than the messes that you make. We'll have time for that later. So as we wrap up here, what in the realm, and we covered a lot of your guys' area of expertise, everything from renovations to new home. So I'm going to ask you a very broad and open question. What's a piece of advice that you would give to you pick seller, buyer, investor in the way of what they need to look at in the area of making sure that the house is sound from a construction standpoint?
Well, like I mentioned before, is doing the background checks. Getting involved. Don't just listen to somebody telling you something.
And that's new and renovation, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you need to pick somebody that has experience so you can trust them. So the more research you can do, which the good thing is these days you can research anything you want these days.
Yep.
Like we were saying back in the day for us,
there's no hiding bad work.
No,
right?
No. So definitely do the research, but
which mostly involves the referrals and making those calls.
Sure.
Sometimes you don't want to, or you go and you look and it looks so nice, and the realtor is showing you the place and telling you the build is good. And to Ryan's point, definitely not so much background check, but the referral check and checking on the work and making sure that the person also has been around for a while, because if the person's going to retire soon or leave and close down their business, unfortunately with construction that happens a lot, and then you don't have the person to call, God forbid, if something happens. So maybe before you choose, you want to see where they are in their career. Not that matters on the trustworthiness, but obviously, people retire and pack up shop, and then if you call them, they're unable to come help you later on down the road. So that also plays a part. But definitely checking the referral and then asking the agents, to maybe do a little more work if they don't know as much about the builder, and finding out some numbers or referrals and such like that.
You could also meet us.
Yeah.
With our projects, we're there. So you can actually come meet us and get comfortable with us. So you don't have to rely on the agent. Come meet us. You can come see what we're doing. Anything you want. You can look. We have other projects. You can come look at this project, but maybe we'll build you a home over here. You want to be in Nassau County, but we have one in here, Suffolk. We're doing. Come look at what we're doing. Get a feel.
Awesome. Well, you come highly regarded. It seems like you have many years of good construction ahead of you. How could somebody get in touch with you guys to connect with you about maybe their next home purchase?
You can go to LAdesign.com, forgive me, LAdesign.com. LAbuilddesign.com is the website, which presently has the new subdivision up there. And then from there, there's contact points and emails and phone numbers and such that you can contact us with. We're also on Instagram
and Facebook.
And Facebook under the same thing, which is LA Design. LA, is it LA Build or LA Build?
LA Build Design. I
LA
believe.
Build Design.
I'm sure it'll be connected to the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's pretty new, so forgive us for.
No problem. Yeah, go to ladesign.com.
LAdesign.com.
All the links will be there. And
Yep.
thank you guys for joining us
Thanks
today.
for
This was
having
a
us.
lot of
Thank you for
fun.
having us.
Thank you for joining us as well. This is the Dream is Real podcast. Remember, like, share, subscribe, turn on those notifications so you know when new episodes come out. If you want to stay connected with us on Instagram or TikTok, you can go to @DreamSelectRealty, on X @DreamSelectHome. If you want to be part of the program, go to hometeam@DreamSelectRealty.com. And we'll see you next time. Just remember, the dream is real.